Hey, what's up everybody? This is Mr. 008 here, and today I have for you another Bloons TD6 update video on the Monkey Ace Paragon, the Goliath Doomship. So in today's video, we are going to be testing out the degree 100 version of this Paragon and see how far it can get. So I got to round 200 with the degree 85 in my previous video, if you did not see. And I posted a short after that, where I got past round 200, although I did not showcase beyond round 200. So I would like to see how far we can get with the degree 100 version of the Goliath Doomship. And I have big hopes for this tower, and hopefully we can make it past like round 210, perhaps even maybe 220, dare I say. But ramping is pretty insane in the late game, so it's hard to say if we will be able to make it that far or not. But we will see what we can do. And I pretty much know that we'll get past round 200, but I still want to show you how strong this tower is even at the earlier rounds, as well as the later rounds. So something I did not know in my previous video, two things actually. First, you need to set up a path where you want the 3 planes to fly by right here. So if we go right there and we use the ability, they fly from top to bottom just like we drew from the first point being the circle up towards here, and the second point was there. So the planes flew that path right there and dropped the bombs as they did so. And so that's the way in which you use the ability, and it does not deal damage to all balloons on screen. It only deals damage, albeit massive damage, where you have it set to target. So targeting is important, and I think that's part of what Rohan meant when he described the Monkey Ace Paragon as a ability-dependent tower, where like a significant amount of its strength comes from its ability. But even without its ability, we're cruising right now, and we're doing pretty well at this point in the game. And the second thing I didn't know in the previous video is that that this Paragon has a homing attack, attack with missiles at close range. I'll slow down the game right here. Notice how an extra stream of missiles starts shooting out when the tower gets close to the balloons that it is targeting. And that third type of attack, other than its ability of course, but the purple projectiles are like the Sky Shredder projectiles. The green ones are more like the fighter plane projectiles. And then there's the homing attack, which is more along the lines of the Spectre or Flying Fortress, but it is a short-range attack, albeit it does deal massive damage, so targeting is important, not only for the ability, but also for just where the plane flies in general. And so something more along the lines of Figure 8, for example, right here, may be better when the balloons are towards the start of the track, and Figure Infinite for when they're closer to the end of the track, for example. So I'm just going to leave this tower on Figure 8 for now, and we have just beaten round 160, so we will see how much farther we can get. And yeah, I am eager to know if this Paragon can beat out even the Buccaneer Paragon as far as just sheer late game strength in a normal game. And I honestly think if any tower can do that, it is this one right here. So we will wait and see how strong it is. Granted, it does not have an insta-kill for bad balloons. It is still it has a lot of raw power, and it also has a lot of ability power. It's just a matter of channeling those powers correctly in order to maximize this tower's popping power. So we are doing well so far, and hopefully my voice is coming through clearly for all of you who are watching this right now. And yeah, I believe that I have figured out the issue as far as why my voice was a bit fuzzy in certain parts of the last video. And yeah, I believe that I have that under control now. I'm getting used to recording on a new phone, and it is something that takes getting used to, but I think I am getting used to it pretty quickly. So here we are on round 167 with 68 million pops, and yeah, let's take this opportunity to talk about some things. So if you guys are interested, I have a couple of questions that I would like you to respond to in the comments section of this video. First of all, what do you think of this tower? Do you think that it is overpowered, or do you think that it's well balanced? Second of all, how do you think the Dread Bloon boss will work? It has not been released with this update, even though it was originally scheduled for this update. What do you think it's going to work like? Third, what do you think the Beast Handler Tower will work like in update 34.0? And fourth, what other games would you like to see on my channel? Because Bloons TD6 will be my main game, but I do want to post other games as well. I want that variety on my channel, so I can post a bunch of different types of guides and draw in viewers who are interested in like all different kinds of games. So that's what I would like to know, because I just feel like having that variety on my channel would allow me to entertain, so to speak, for lack of a better word, people who play all different kinds of games. Because I like a lot of different kinds of games. There are some games that I don't like, especially pay-to-win games, for example. That's a type of game that you will never see on my channel. No matter how rich I get, no matter how famous I get, even if one day I have several million subscribers, I will never ever post guides for pay-to-win games, because that is not the type of game that is actually fun for the general player base. And if it's not fun for the general player base, then why should it even have that notoriety to begin with? So, we're on round 174 now with 100 million pops, and we are still doing pretty well without using the ability. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how we do at rounds 200 plus. And in the meantime, also feel free, if you have tested this Paragon yourself, feel free to state which map you used, which degree the Paragon is, and how far it got. And of course, list any support towers you used, if any. But I'm interested to see where others may have gotten to, so I can see if one, like how much of a power difference there is between, let's say, a degree 1 and a degree 20, or degree 20 and degree 40, and so on for this tower. Because the Navark, for example, when it was first released, degree 1 was significantly stronger than it is now. Degree 100, however, is the same strength that it originally was. Ninja Kiwi nerfed the lower degrees because it was stronger than expected to be at those lower degrees. I'm guessing that may have something to do with the mini aces being separate towers. Not separate towers per se, but like being linked in separate ways to the tower, if you know what I'm trying to say. Like how, for example, when you buff a Comanche commander with an alchemist, the Comanche commander itself gets the alchemist buff, but the mini Comanches do not. Similar to the carrier flagship and thus the Navar. If it has something to do with that, if it was a bug and it was originally stronger than it was supposed to be at lower degrees because of that. But yeah, it's interesting to think about like what goes on behind the scenes in these games, which reminds me of a class I am taking right now as a senior in college. I'm taking a course on coding, on how to compute using Python for astrophysical purposes, because that is the career path that I am pursuing. And it's interesting to think about. I for one, I love coding, but I hate learning to code. Like that's the best way of putting it, is that I love coding, but I just don't like the process of going through making and having to patch all these different bugs that I don't even know how to fix. And that's the thing about coding that really frustrates me sometimes. And that doesn't mean I don't want to do it, it just means I wish there was a different way of going about learning it. But some things just, it's the way they work, and even if they piss you off, they're better to learn in the long run. Because if you don't learn them, you won't be able to do what you want to in the long run. So I am going to continue pursuing what I started to study, and I look forward to what awaits me in the future in just astrophysics in general. And that reminds me, like, I have a lot of different things that I like to talk about, to study, to learn about, ranging from astrophysics to marine biology to criminal justice, all different kinds of things. And that's something that I feel like allows me to relate to a lot of different communities. And I'm wondering if that's just a me thing, like if I just have more hobbies than most people do, or if it just seems like that because, like, of what I know about the other people who I know. Like, is it normal to have that many different things that you love talking about? And whether it is or not, I don't know, but I'm glad that I just have all those interests that I can discuss and learn about and put thought into. So, getting back to the Ace Paragon, we are at 190 million pops, around 188 so far. Still going strong, no ability usage yet, and perhaps we can beat 190 without using the ability. Until after that round, we will see. And we're pretty close to that, actually. And speaking of free play, I'm not sure if you guys saw this in the patch notes, but you are now able to earn 5% of the normal cash being defined as how much cash you earn per pop before as of round 50 or earlier, and then after that you don't get one money per bloon popped anymore, whether it be a red bloon or a ceramic layer or anything else. Cash just gets tighter and tighter as more bloons come in later on in the game. But Ninja Kiwi have decided to give us 2.5 times the cash that we previously were able to get from rounds 101 to 120 specifically. So I forget the specific values for pre-round 101, but what I do know is that rounds 101 to 120, you'll make 2.5 times as much money as you used to. It's still 2% rather than 5% of the base cash after round 120, but it'll be pretty interesting to see like what we can do with that extra cash, and that will affect boss runs as well, because you don't face off against the tier 5 boss until round 120. And so that extra cash may in fact do something. And I think it will, because of how many balloons you have to go up against in those 20 rounds. Because rounds 1 to 100, for example, have like 2.05 million balloons like that you can get pops from. Well, by that I mean you have to like deal 1 damage 2.05 million times, so to speak, but you're not actually popping 2.05 million different balloons. So it's a little bit complicated. It's 2.05 million RBE, or red balloon equivalent, but it's not actually popping 2.05 million different balloons. So you're not making, like, even if you made base cash on your whole run, you would not make $2.05 million in the first 100 rounds. That's basically what I'm trying to say, as far as clarifying my wording goes. But getting back to what I was talking about in a different sense, as far as the RBE on later rounds, I think rounds 101 to 120 alone have more than 2.05 million RBE, whereas you have to play from round 1 to 100, or in the case of Impossible or Chimps, round 6 to 100, for that much RBE worth of balloons. So that just goes to show you like how intense the later rounds in this game are compared to the earlier rounds. And but I would like to see a new game mode eventually where you have to beat through round 120 or maybe even 140 in order to like actually get some kind of medal or something like that, like for all the different tracks in the game. That would be cool to see. Maybe not on Chimps mode, for example, because it might be impossible to beat expert maps to like round 140 on Chimps mode. Although some people like Jaja Josh may be able to do that. I don't know. Maybe Jaja Josh or Supreme Avocado or some other like top of the line elite BTD6 player. But like some player like that may be able to beat those types of challenges, but something that you still need to be an expert to do, but something that you don't need to outright like be like top dozen or top couple dozen in the world in order to do. So that would be pretty cool to see, like ABR to round 100 or Impossible to round 120 or something else along those lines. So here we are at round 200 with these fortified bad balloons, and I'm going to see how we do without the ability. I'm expecting we will have to use the ability in order to beat this round. Yes, we will have to use the ability. Not sure why I'm getting that Reddit notification there. Actually, I forgot to block all notifications before starting this video. So let's use the ability right there, and hopefully we'll be good for beating this round. Yeah, I did forget to override all like exceptions to the do not disturb before starting to record this video, but hopefully you guys don't mind that notification, for example, and I'll make sure if it has anything like personally identifiable to block it out before uploading this video. And so yeah, that's just one of the things I need to get back into remembering. So here's another fortified bed. The game is set to not spawn fortified beds from rounds 141 to 199, but round 140 and 200 have fortified beds by default, and anything past that, like they can just spawn like on any round past that. So making sure to handle those balloons properly is important. So let's go ahead and use our ability again right there, and I think that we are fine so far because we are not seeing any balloons get too close to the exit unless they're spawned from a fortified bed. But even the ceramics and all that, like, I'm glad to have the ace pad placed in such a way that I do not need to do like crazy intense micro in order to avoid last minute leaks most of the time, especially if it's ceramics or something like that. So I'm going to use the ability whenever I run into fortified beds. I forgot to retarget the ability right there. So let's do from here to here, and hopefully this is enough for this round. There go the DDTs, but it's looking like we may lose here. But let's try again because I did not time the abilities. Well, I feel like I timed them okay. It's just a matter of remembering to retarget them as far as location is concerned. So let's try that. And it wasn't like head on, but I think that we are good to go for another 10 rounds perhaps, or maybe even 15 rounds. I would like to see if we can beat round 220 with this degree 100 Paragon. So let's use the ability again right there. We got some good bad damage right there. We have just a few ZOMGs left for this round. And on to 207, and we are at 356 million pops. So goes to show you just how much you need to do to pop these balloons, how much damage you need to deal. And in all fairness, it is, in my opinion, it is a good decision by Ninja Kiwi to buff ramping, to buff the free play balloons later on in the game, so that you're not like playing forever and ever and ever just to get to the highest round you can. But at the same time, I wish that devices just didn't lag as much, like just on the higher ends, like the higher rounds and all of that. So that's my opinion as far as this stuff is concerned. But that was some good damage, especially on the fortified bed there. So let's try targeting right there. And there we go. That was pretty good, that ability. So let's go ahead and target right there. And there we go. No fortified beds on 209. Keep in mind these rounds are RNG. They're not the same exact balloons spawned every single time, like unless you like set up a challenge for other players to try out, for example, then it will be the same balloons every time for like just that specific challenge. But if someone else sets up a challenge on that same round, it won't necessarily be the same. I think the only rounds past 100 that are not RNG anymore are or rather past 140. Rounds 101 to 140 are not RNG anymore. I believe that the only rounds past 140 that are not RNG, that are predetermined every time, are rounds 163, 200, 263, and maybe rounds like 100 or 1,000 and 10,000. But I think every other round past that point is RNG. I think somebody made a video once, I forget who it was, about round 10,001 on, in like just late game free play mode and all that. But, yeah, I forget who made that video, but I think like round 10,001 has something crazy on it. I forget what it is. It's not like a new bloom type, it's just like a different, type of spawn, like, different, like it's not RNG, and like it's either like several hundred bad balloons on the same round, or something else to that extent, but I forget exactly what it is. And you're reaching a point where fortified bads, just the fortified bad layer, even takes like 2 ability uses that are well placed in order to take out. So I think we are reaching our limits, but that's not to say we are there yet. So let's use the ability right there, and we should be good to finish round 214 right here. And here we are on 215 with 450 million pops, by the way. And this doesn't want to work for some reason. Let's use the ability again. I'm not sure why it didn't target where I told it to, because I could have sworn I saw a green path, but no worries, we got our ability back and we're on to the next round. So let's use the ability right here, and there is another fortified bed we have to take down right here, but it's probably halfway damaged or something close to that. So let's do that, and we may need to these DDTs are becoming a big issue, but let's try right there, and we'll try and use our ability like the soonest possible moment we can. Actually, I'm going to delay my ability usage right here for a little bit, and we'll see if we can do from here to here. And we pressed that too late. Okay, so here to here, ability number 1, and we will try like that. We set up the path so we have it ready. As soon as we get to like the last damage stage on this bad balloon. So let's try like that and use the ability right there. And it's looking like we may have this round beat. Yes, we do. And no lives lost up to this point. We don't have any ceramics or whatever else leaking like we did in our degree 85 video. So it's looking like we may be able to beat round 220, or maybe even a few rounds after that. So let's see what we can do here. And it's looking like I may need to use the ability thrice even on the same round. So let's see if we can beat the fortified DDTs. We do, but the Moabs leak. So I'll try and use the ability 3 times on the same fortified bed. So number 1 right there. Set it up again right there. Actually, we'll do there. And there is number 2. And Set up number 3, and wow, we did pop the fortified DDTs without them leaking there. That's kind of crazy at this point. We're already on round 218, and we are at nearly 500 million pops, nearly half a giga pop. So I'm wondering how far we can really go with this. I mean, again, we are closing in on our limits, but I'm wondering if like the best micro in the world can get you to like 1 billion pops without any support towers, like without even Super Riddle, Triple Moab, Blue Storm, that kind of stuff. So let's try right there, number 2 for the ability, and number 3, no. Okay, let's retry. I'm not happy about the targeting right there, how it was like giving me, like saying that it was invalid, like with the red lines and all. But surprisingly, the second fortified bed there was closer to being destroyed than the first one. But let's try this. There's number 1, and there is number 2, and we will set up number 3 right there. Use the ability as soon as we can. DDTs are gone, they're wiped out, but the Moabs and BFBs will not be wiped out. So I think round 219 may be where we have to call it. That ability was bad right there as far as the location goes, because it resets every time you hit retry last round. But let's see if we can do better right here. Use the ability right there, and it's looking like the same thing will probably happen this time. Well, BFBs get through instead of Moabs, but let's do 1 to 2. 1, hello? Yeah, I don't like that about this ability, how it like, it's not giving you the time you need to make sure your path is quote-unquote valid, and like it invalidates paths for weird reasons. So there are the DDTs from the second bed. Can we pop the DDTs there? We can, but the ZOMGs do not get popped, which is where the issue happens. So let's set this up before the round even starts and try right there. See if we can get that first bad balloon, like get some extra damage on it, and we will try again. Okay, we popped it too fast there. So let's do like that and see if we can get some more damage on the second one. And do that. And we will then do this, if the game gives us the chance to, that is. So let's do that. And these planes fly too slow. I'm telling you, these planes, like, they're just too slow because of how fast the DDTs are at this point in the game. So let's try one more time. I don't want to try too many more times because I don't feel like it'll make a difference if we can't do it in a few tries. But let's use the ability right there. And I think that's probably it. Let's try changing the targeting. And I don't even mean of the ability. Let's try changing the targeting of the plane itself. and see if that will do what we need it to do. So there's ability number 2, and we will try Figure Infinite right here. Use the ability, and too slow. Let's try. I'm still trying again because that was ridiculous with the DDTs. Let's try. Have to go the other way to make it faster. I didn't even see that, did you? Did you even see that? And that was stupid. It keeps resetting the targeting. I mean, I know why it does. I'm not saying I don't understand it, I'm just saying it's stupid. But let's do that. And we will do, no. We don't want to take forever to get to the correct targeting. Yeah, it didn't even pop that bad layer, so we lost. Again, I know what I'm doing, I just don't know how to do what I want to do, if that makes any sense. So let's, actually I worded that backwards. I know what I want to do, but I don't know what I am doing. Figure Infinite right here, and we didn't press that fast enough. But even if we did, they still wouldn't show up fast enough, these planes. I think I'm gonna call it here, round 219. So let's try this. And we will see with this one if it is somehow good enough. I don't know why that happened, but let's try one more time. And do that. And Figure Infinite. Again, I don't know why it's damaging the second bad more than the first. I don't want it to do that because then the DDTs leak. So let's try this and see if that works better. Figure Infinite again this time. Use the ability along this path, and if it works, it's going to work this time, otherwise it just won't work. Let's see if the close range targeting helps us any. It looks like it does not help enough. So round 219 is where we are calling it. Let's review the map. 516.86 million pops right here with this degree 100 Ace Paragon. Easily the strongest tower in the game, regardless of, yeah, it's stronger than the Ninja Paragon, stronger than the Buccaneer Paragon, the VTSG, even with God boosting and all that. It's just the strongest, it's just the best. So that's going to wrap it up for today's video, you guys. Thank you all for watching, and I had fun with this, despite sounding frustrated for the last few minutes there. I had fun with this video. So thank you all for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. If you have enjoyed, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more interesting content. And more videos will be coming your way pretty soon. And until then, I will call it here, and I'll talk to you all again in the next video. Peace out.